Welcome. This is a portion of a 2-hour conversation that took place in June of 2019 after the NRA national meetings. A conversation about NRA with Mac from Military Arms Channel, Jeff Knox from Firearms Coalition, Rob Pincus from I.C.E and 2AO, Shawn from We Like Shooting, and Jared from Guns and Gadgets. Together, we talked about the current state of the NRA, where it's going, and what we can do. Links to each of the participants and the full 2-hour conversation every once in a while, and you'll be surprised how much we can change when we empower each other with the financial side of it. But let's ignore all that and let's talk about the NRA. I'm going to go from my left to my right and welcome everybody tonight. We got Jared from Guns and Gadgets out of Massachusetts, right? And you're muted.
Easy.
How's that? Did it connect again?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, sorry. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the opportunity to be here, and look forward to telling everybody what we can do to get this NRA going back to the way it should be.
You bet. Well, I'll introduce everybody. We have just a couple of bullet points, but I want to thank Jared for your consistent efforts on getting the news out there on all different points and gathering people that can give you insight and sharing that. That's awesome. We have Jeff Knox, author, and we've had him on the show before. You're an author and a 2A activist, very aware of what's happening with the NRA. Thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure.
And from Firearms Coalition, correct? That'd work?
Right. The Firearms Coalition, we have been around for 35 years and before that, and as an organization, 35 years. And we've been working with and around and keeping track of NRA for over 40 years. So we've been in the thick of this forever.
And hopefully some of it will pay off with some of the getting this information out to people so they can do something. We got Rob Pincus joining us. Thanks for joining ICE. And you got a lot of hats.
Hats. Appreciate you guys having me on tonight. Things are rough. They're probably going to get worse. And I think it's good that we get a lot of different voices out here. And this will give us probably a really good resource to share with people when they say, but what's going on? Here's your update coming up now.
Exactly. And maybe we can at least start this conversation and get some grasp on it. Appreciate you being here. Shawn from We Like Shooting, you've got some of the other guys there with you. You guys have done a lot with your projects, but recently with the NRA history. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, you bet. Glad to be here.
And then Tim, Military Arms Channel, again, thanks for joining. Obviously, one of the larger presences on the YouTube and on the internet as far as gun rights, and then willing to stand up to the status quo with all this stuff. So we appreciate you being here too.
No, thank you for having me, man. It means a lot.
All right. So again, we're here to talk NRA, and we've been chatting a little bit in the emails, a little bit off air here, and it's a tough nut to crack, right? So I think one way to bust into it is, where is the NRA today? Does anyone want to start this one off? We kind of just talked about maybe doing these one at a time.
I'll start, because where the NRA right now is in the middle of a river in Egypt. The board of directors has a small group of the board of directors has circled the wagons around Wayne LaPierre, and there is fire coming in from all sides. That small group of directors is able to create enough interference to keep the rest of the board from taking serious, significant action. And the regulators in New York, where NRA is chartered, are just eating this up, because all they have to do is sit there and rake in the information and watch NRA destroy itself. And that's what the NRA is doing right now, is destroying itself.
I'd like to add to that, because I have some insight as well. This isn't new for the NRA. They've been at war with themselves for quite some time. For a short time there, when Pete Brownell ascended to the presidency, he sat down with me and we discussed some of the problems with the NRA and some of the directions he had hoped to take it under his presidency. But of course, he warned me that he had very little power in the organization, but was trying to build a coalition to try to affect positive change. And I said, "Yep, I'll back you. for as long as you don't stab gun owners in the back, I'll back the NRA and support this change from within. Lasts all about 5 months. Vegas happened. They post the joint statement from Wayne and Chris, and then the battle lines are drawn once again. And I bowed out and I said, if you guys ever stab us in the back, I'll become your worst enemy. And I've tried to keep my promise on that point. But they've been battling themselves for some time. And I think the biggest mistake that was made was back at the revolt in Cincinnati in 77. They set the board up in such a way that they couldn't have a revolt again. And with so many directors, it's very difficult to crack that nut and actually affect any type of change whatsoever. And quite honestly, Wayne does whatever he damn well pleases, because things like suing ACMAC, he didn't even consult the board. And when they put that joint statement out saying that bump stocks should be regulated away, they didn't consult with the board. They make decisions that can cripple and financially ruin the NRA every single day. And the board many times has no idea what's going on. And the president, his only power is just really to pacify the board to keep him out of Wayne and Chris's hair. So the organization's been a complete cluster F forever. So it's nothing new. It's just coming to light now because Oliver North went public with information. He threatened to spread dirt that everybody's known about that's paying attention on Wayne LaPierre. He threatened to go public with it if he didn't step down, and it kind of backfired. But what it did do is bring awareness to all the problems that the NRA has. If ACMAC and the NRA suing each other over scraps isn't enough to tell people something horribly wrong. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I'll jump in if you guys don't mind. You ask where are we now, and I think we're at a dangerous time as far as gun owners, because if the liberal left, they smell blood in the water, and if they can get that political, spiritual victory of taking down the NRA, it's going to be a very, very difficult time for us going forward. So, like most of us, I'd like to see them fix it. I don't know if it's fixable, but I believe that they have to make the change from the top. I think it's past time for the leadership change, but not just the figurehead. There has to be some deep-rooted changes within the committee as well.
They're corrupted players that you don't even know their names. It's the entire management of the organization. The fact that they never moved their charter out of New York when New York went completely far off the left end of the spectrum, the fact that they kept their charter there just speaks to the gross mismanagement. Nobody there's doing their jobs. They should have moved the charter out of New York decades ago.
Is that a decision they've been made?
They're going to get dissolved. And when the NRA gets dissolved, it's not going to help us. I agree with that point. I would like to see change. I'm not trying to burn it to the ground. I would like to get it fixed before we get the next staunchly anti-gun administration. And Trump's bad enough with some of the stuff he's done recently. But if we get a truly anti-gun administration in there, and we get an anti-gun House and Senate, and we don't have a strong NRA actually fighting for us, we're in a bad way. But it's not to say there aren't other great groups out there like the Firearms Policy Coalition, SAF and GOA and others, but it would be nice to get the NRA fixed if at all possible.
Nobody's looking for the loss of that resource. We'd like to repair the resource.
Absolutely.
Without question.
Rob, did you want to add something here?
To another state and away from New York, but despite the pressure they're feeling right now, they're still doing nothing. All they can think about is saving Wayne LaPierre. That whole organization exists to make a handful of people filthy, rich, and live like royalty. And
while they're paying the line staff almost nothing. The pay grade at NRA for regular folks that work there is ridiculously low.
That and the morale is ridiculously low,
absolutely.
And have been for some time, and that's coming from people that work inside that are friendly to me. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right.
This is a portion of a 2-hour conversation that took place in June of 2019 after the NRA national meetings. A conversation about NRA with Mac from Military Arms Channel, Jeff Knox from Firearms Coalition, Rob Pincus from I.C.E. and 2AO, Shawn from We Like Shooting, and Jared from Guns and Gadgets. Together, we talked about the current state of the NRA, where it's going, and what we can do. Links to each of the participants and the full 2-hour conversation are available below.